I'll bring to order the Tuolumne County Planning Commission of October 7th, 2015. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would like to welcome Peggy Mosley from Groveland, long-term resident there, proprietor of the Groveland Hotel, and knows a lot about the Groveland area and all the players and so on over there. And welcome to the commission, Peggy.
Thank you very much.
We have two sterling members of this commission now. Mr. Baker here. So,
This is just the beginning of the coup.
it might be.
It's only a matter of time for the county seat.
But you can't say we don't have diversity on our commission.
Certainly can.
Okay.
Also dreamers.
Getting into planning commission business before we get to the regular agenda. Any reports from the staff or the commission? Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to welcome our new commissioner, Peggy Mosley. I've worked with Peggy over the years, and it's just I'm honored that she's joining us on the commission here.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for the honor.
She's extremely knowledgeable about not just Groveland, but the entire county. So I think she's a great addition to our commission. Just a couple reminders. First of all, this Saturday, some of you are attending the Stanislaus County Planning Commissioners Workshop, and I believe it is on the 10th. And I'm going to say it wrong. Commissioner Prezabella. Okay, and I think Commissioner Frazier's going, and is anybody else going here, do you know, that signed up?
Peggy.
Oh, and Peggy's going, okay. So we have 3 commissioners going to that training on Saturday. And as a reminder, the 85th Annual California County Planning Commissioners Association Conference is going to be Friday and Saturday, October 23rd and 24th in June Lake. I think 4 of you have signed up for that. And if you still want to go, let Karen know. We just got an email reminder again, I think yesterday, from the association. So they still are encouraging people to register for that conference. And of course, it'll be beautiful over there in June Lake. I want to remind the commissioners of an opportunity to complete your required AB 1234 ethics training. It's given by County Counsel's Office each year. You're only required to take it every 2 years. So for those of you who have not taken it and need to take it this year, it's going to be held on Friday, November 6th here in the boardroom. And there are 2 sessions in the morning from 10 to 12 or the afternoon from 2 to 4. If you'd like, just let me or Karen know this evening, and we'll let County Counsel's Office know and get you registered. Otherwise, you can contact Counsel's Office directly.
Do you have the records of whether we are due for that or not?
We do.
I don't have it with me.
No.
Yes, we can check and email you. I think you took it last year, but we can confirm that.
I think I did, because I remember spending hours on the internet for some reason, and I think that might have been it.
I believe that was part of response to the grand jury. I believe I looked it up, and I think all of our veteran commissioners have already taken it. Commissioner LaTorre, I know, did. I believe you and Commissioner Frazier did. You went to training last. You took it online.
Yeah.
I'm due this year.
Yes, I think you're due.
Yeah. We're still doing the online
You
thing?
can do it online.
Don't do it.
I do have a flyer.
I know, but I'm not
from
down.
council. Also, we forward this to you via email as well. So if you have it on the back, it gives directions on how to take it
Oh,
online.
okay.
So you do have that option to take it online. I do ask that when you take it online, you print out your proof that you took it, that you give us a copy just for our records, so that we have that deal.
If you have an option, do not take it online. Trust me.
It's much more
It's
fun.
so painful.
Yeah.
And if you try to hurry up, all they do is extend it. So you have to spend 3 hours
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah, you can't shortcut it, you know? And he goes on and on. Do not do it on outline. But anyway, my suggestion. Excuse me, go ahead.
That's okay. And another reason for the certificate is, as you recall, the grand jury has asked that we provide copies to the Board of Supervisors. So I've already sent the ones, again, for those who took it last year, and those who take it this year, we will send those as well to the Board of Supervisors. Next, I want to mention that we do have one item for your next agenda, which will be October 21st. We hope to have it on this agenda tonight, but the applicant had not signed the agreement to conditions at the time. It's for a cell tower project. So that will come to you on the 21st. Also on that agenda, I'll plan to schedule for your Planning Commission business a discussion on the procedures that you would like to adopt for your future hearing on the Dollar General project in Columbia. It's very controversial. You're all receiving a lot of contacts, either letters, emails perhaps, or phone calls, and you know the kinds of comments you're getting. We received over 100 letters of comment on the environmental document, so it's going to take us a little while to respond to those, so I don't know what date we'll be scheduling it, but when we do have that scheduled and we send out notices, I would like to be able to advise the public if they're going to be limited to the amount of time they have to present their testimony. We did that for Mountain Springs. There may have been another project or two that we've done that, but it's just a way for you to already establish what procedures you're going to use for that hearing. And I will be proposing to schedule that meeting in Columbia. So we'll work with you on it as well on that and where it's going to be. So unless there are any questions about the Dollar General project, I guess I will say a few more things. Some of you commissioners have forwarded letters to me, and I would, again, if you receive information like that, please send to staff. You can't talk to each other, of course, but you can send it to us, and we'll make sure it gets into the agenda packages then when we distribute all the information to everyone, so make sure that all of you have the same access to that information provided by members of the public. U.S. commissioners are public officials. That's part of your job, is to talk to the public. However, you as commissioners have a choice. Some commissioners over the years have decided that they do want to talk to people before a hearing. You're not required to. You can advise that you wish to remain open-minded and that you'll just hear the testimony at the hearing and review all the written materials beforehand. If you wish to meet with people, that's fine. Your obligation is simply to disclose that at the hearing itself, to say, I met with, you don't have to name everybody by name either. I met with several people who opposed the project. I met with the applicant. I did a site inspection of the property. I attended this meeting in which they discussed this project. I think that's come up for some of you. You're very active in the community. You can't help but go somewhere and hear about this. So those are the kinds of things that your only obligation is to disclose that you had these conversations, and you just say, they told me that they had concerns about traffic or compatibility with the community or something like that. Not a lot of detail, but enough to disclose that you did have these outside conversations and that type of thing. So it's really your choice. Most commissioners do avail themselves of the public and others who would like to talk to you, but again, you're not obligated if you wish to not do that. That's your choice as commissioners. Any questions about that?
John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do we already know what the county recommendation will be on that project?
We have not prepared that. We may not make a recommendation. We may provide findings both for and against. In this particular case, we have talked to the applicant about that.
Anybody else?
Just a comment maybe, and is that my personal feelings, I think it's probably the legal thing as well, is you really are not in a position to take a stand.
That's
in these
correct.
conversations. You know, yeah.
Not taking a stand.
Or even being perceived as taking a stand. You know, sometimes in the name of seeming sympathetic, you end up being perceived as taking a stand, and either way, you know, and it ends up causing problems. And so, just it's really easy to get caught in that trap, having gone through it a couple of times.
Be careful, yeah.
And that's, I think, why some people are more reluctant to actually engage in those conversations. But, you know, that's one of the roles as a planning commissioner. It's your job to listen to the public, but, you know, how you do that, go about it. The main thing is that at these meetings, this is the opportunity for people to present their information or to the written documentation get beforehand. So if you want to have those personal conversations beforehand, that's up to you. So I just wanted to stress that.
Yes, Shane, did you say you would, rather than make a recommendation, prepare both positive and negative findings?
Yes.
Did I hear you
Yes,
correctly?
we may be doing that in this case.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions, staff? Okay.
Quick, what is the first November meeting? Is that the 7th or whatever it is?
November
Does that look like it's going to happen?
4th.
Is that going to happen? You know.
I'm thinking probably not.
Okay.
I don't think we'll have any items for that. We would try and get them both, any other project on the 21st, so we wouldn't have to have, you know, one item
Okay.
meetings. We prefer not to do that, but we will.
Yeah, John?
Assist the applicant.
Thank you. I'll be out of town 2 weeks from now. Is there any commissioner who knows they won't be able to make that meeting? One?
What's the date on that?
That's the 21st,
Of November?
2 weeks from tonight. Oh, no, October.
October.
2 weeks from tonight.
I think I'm okay on that one, November.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay, so
You still have a quorum?
you're not- I should ask, who's not available in November?
I'll be in San Diego on the 21st.
Okay,
November.
November, well, actually, 18th would be, the dates for November would be the 4th and the 18th.
Okay,
So,
all right.
We're talking
I'll check my calendar and get back to
okay.
you.
Tell me again how far in advance I need to notice if I'm going to attend a meeting from out of town?
We have to post it, the last one we did was a special meeting, so we didn't have to do it as far in advance, but it's normally 72 hours ahead of time. So if you let me know, like,
That's for,
5 days ahead, yeah. So yes, you have to post it 72 hours.
but also you have to notice in the paper, don't you?
We have to notice the agenda, we put it right on the agenda. Last time we did it as an amended agenda, to be able to show that you're going to be.
Oh, so if the decision is made only 72 hours in advance, that's enough advance notice?
It's, Brown Act requires a 72-hour notice for a regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay, well, if we find that we need me for a quorum, I'd be happy to attend by telephone.
Okay. All right.
I will be in Petaluma.
Okay, so that means if anyone else can attend, and we already know about Commissioner Baker, so right now we would have 4, assuming potentially Commissioner Rod.
I would be glad to do that as well, but it's more complicated possibly because I'm out of the state. Right?
Yeah.
So if that you know, makes it, but it's not a problem for me, but it might be a problem for you.
All right, any other questions of staff? If not, any reports from commissioners? No reports from commissioners, okay. Report from the Planning Committee representative on the Board of Supervisors Planning Committee.
That would be me, and I report we have not had a meeting.
Okay, thank you. Report from the Agricultural Advisory Committee representative. I'm not sure we even have one.
We don't.
Do we yet?
No, that was my other thing I wanted to mention. As a reminder, your commission does have a representative to that Agricultural Advisory Committee. Currently, there is no one who has expressed an interest in serving. And so we do have a new commissioner, if you're interested. The committee has not met very often this year. It's involved in reviewing projects that involve the Williamson Act, agricultural properties, and that type of thing. And they actually have 2 vacancies right now. So if we get a commissioner who's interested, it needs to be an appointment by the Board of Supervisors. So if you are interested, let me know. You do have to fill an application form like you do to be on this commission. But as far as time, they meet the 3rd Thursday of the month in the evening. Usually, part of the year they meet at 7 o'clock and part they start at 6, depending on when the ranchers need to get out and do certain things.
Third Thursday, huh?
3rd Thursday of the month, and this year they have not met since the spring. So that's what I'm saying. It used to be very active.
That's my kind of committee. I might volunteer.
You're thinking if you don't have time, it's not, they do have a regular meeting schedule, and they were extremely busy when we were going through all the Williamson Act contract updates, but since that time, their workload has diminished significantly.
Okay. All right, where were we? Oh, yeah, okay. Minutes of the meeting of August 31st. Everybody's had a chance to review them. Any corrections or additions? If not, may I have a motion to adopt?
I so move.
Motion, have a second?
I second that.
Motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain?
Abstain.
You abstain, Peggy abstains. for the-
Yes.
You abstain,
Do I
3.
abstain? Oh, no, I second it. so I
You
can't-
weren't here.
Yeah, okay.
Was that the one I was at here by phone?
You were here by phone.
You were here by phone.
Yeah, you're funny, so you're all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we're okay.
I believe you're going to have to, if I have to abstain, then you have to redo a second.
You, even though you weren't here, you can vote
Yeah.
on minutes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's up to you. If you're not comfortable because you weren't here, so you can't really tell the veracity of the
Got
minutes,
it.
then that's up to you. But council has advised that you can vote on minutes.
Okay, so we're all right, huh? 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5?
Well, I mean,
I'm
let me
not.
see, so you.
Raise your hand.
I abstain.
Yes, now, okay, so.
Abstain.
okay,
She abstains.
We have 2 abstentions.
Okay, we got 4.
We have 4.
Okay. So ordered.
0, 2 abstentions with Commissioners Mosley and Frazier abstaining.
All right. That takes care of the Planning Commission business. Now we'll go for public comment on any item that's not on the agenda. Public is welcome to address the commission. Seeing no one, we will close that. We will now go to a public hearing on our agenda items. Everything from now on will be part of a public hearing. And the first item is Rogers and Peterson, a resolution for an ag preserve alteration by the removal of 53 acres and the addition of 37 acres to another agricultural preserve. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Norma J. Gurso Irrevocable Trust and Denise Rogers is the trustee of that trust, own 53.0 acres that are located at 17951 and 17967 Old Warrens Ferry Road. Ron and Linda Peterson own assessor's parcel numbers 56-42002 and 56-42027, which have 37.1 acres in total, and the property is located at 17990 and 18078 Old Warrens Ferry Road. The Denise Rogers has applied to change the land use designation, has applied to rezone property, the 53 acres, from exclusive agricultural to RE5, residential state 5-acre minimum, in accordance with the site's existing rural residential general plan land use designation. At this time, there is no proposal to divide the property. This is simply a rezoning. Because the property is currently within Agricultural Preserve 309, we need to address what will happen to that agricultural preserve. Removing the 53 acres from the agricultural preserve, which is only 90.2 acres in size currently, will create an ag reserve of less than 100 acres. Under the California Government Code, agricultural preserves are to be a minimum of 100 acres, or specific findings must be made as to why they can be smaller than that. The Peterson property is the only other property that's located within Agriculture Preserve 309. So rather than just removing the Rogers property, we are proposing to disestablish Agriculture Preserve 309 and add the Peterson property of 37.1 acres to Agriculture Preserve 291, which is contiguous to the Peterson property. Peterson property is still under a Williamson Act contract and must remain an agricultural preserve. This change will then enlarge agricultural preserve number 291 to 114.9 acres. The Rogers property is no longer under a Williamson Act contract, and again, it's now proposed to be rezoned. As part of this application, a biological study was conducted by the property owner. They hired C2 Consult Corporation to do a biological study. That study showed that there were no impacts to wildlife habitat from the proposed rezoning. And an archaeological study was also performed. That was done by Carr Environmental Services. That study determined that there were no significant resources on the site that would be affected by the rezoning. As such, we've determined that the rezoning of the property to be consistent with the county's general plan can be evaluated pursuant to the environmental impact report that was prepared for the general plan update some time ago. In processing this project, we, of course, notified neighboring property owners, and we did receive 9 responses. They were all in opposition to the project. The opposition concerned where water would come from to serve new parcels that could potentially be created by this rezoning. Rezoning the 53.0 acres to RE5 creates a potential of 10 future 5-acre parcels. Access and traffic increases were also concerns. Also, there were concerns about protecting the hillsides and hilltops on the property from future development. Those are issues that are very valid. At this time, the rezoning would not allow any additional homes on the property, would not really allow any changes because a map to divide the property has not been submitted. Those issues would be addressed at such time as the owner decides to divide the property if the rezoning is approved by the Board of Supervisors. I will mention too that because this project entails changing an agricultural preserve, the Agricultural Advisory Committee did review the project at its meeting on April 16th of this year, and that committee has recommended approval of the proposed changes to the agricultural preserve.
Any questions of staff and the commission? If not, we'll go to the public. The way we run this, those in favor are able to speak first. Those in opposition speak second. Third, those can speak who are more or less neutral. So we will start with those supporting this project, and we have a taker. And you do not have to identify yourself.
My name is Bob Osborne, and owner of Golden State Surveying, and represent Rogers in their application for the rezoning. Just a little short history. Rogers inherited the property recently, and upon the advice of their real estate broker, decided that this would be the best thing to do to make the property a little more marketable. So they want to get that out of the way. They have no plans to go any further with it. Any other questions, or if you have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Osborne? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Anybody else wish to speak in favor of the project? All right. Anybody wish to speak in opposition to the project?
I'm a member of the public, and in reading this, there's an awful lot of opposition from the Farm Bureau, from CSERC, so that gives me reason for concern, especially if we're doing it just so it's a more profitable resale, if I understood that correctly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak in opposition? Seeing none, anybody wish to speak neutrally? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing on this matter, bring the matter back to the board for discussion and action. John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to take an opportunity to comment on the concerns of the member of the public, if I may.
Sure.
And you're welcome to come back up and talk about it more if you feel like it. You're right that there were some letters in opposition, but the things that the letters were concerned about are not at issue tonight. They were concerned about future development, but it would be at a future development hearing that those current concerns are addressed. Those concerns aren't before us tonight. Do you have any other questions about that?
No, you'd have to come up, ma'am.
Sorry, I see a lot of things here where people come and if they kind of meet the checklist for the planning department or the county, then it's kind of approved without any opposition. So I was just concerned that the Farm Bureau had something to say because a lot of times they don't speak up, and CSERC had something to say, and they seem to be more concerned about changing the ag preserve. So the thing about the water, that would be, that's a concern for everybody, but that's not your concern as the Planning Commission.
Well, I'd like to say a couple words about my own philosophy as a planning commissioner. You're right. For the Farm Bureau to speak up and for CSERC to speak up, there's an indication that there is concern out there for conversion of ag land. And I share their concern. But what's also true is that the county has a set of rules that if you follow the rules, you're able to enjoy the use of your property in the way you see fit.
Right.
And so I see my role as a planning commissioner to ask first, did they follow the rules? And if they follow the rules, then my inclination is to say, well, if they're following the rules, I don't think I can stop them unless there's some really overriding reason that kind of goes beyond the rules. There are a lot of, we often in this body hear objections to conversion of ag land, and we have to make a judgment as individual commissioners. Are we philosophically opposed to the conversion of ag land, and do we always vote no on that, or are we more philosophically inclined to say if they follow the rules, it's okay? And I personally choose to follow the rules because if we as a county, and if the citizens of this county made a decision that is really important to preserve all the ag land and not allow anyone to take land out of ag preserve, then we would need to change the rules. And I don't see that happening. So my inclination personally is to follow the rules that we have.
But you make a thoughtful decision. So when people come before you and you're here as the planning commissioner, I hear you asking thoughtful questions. I hear you trying to hear both sides of the issue and then making a decision based on that, which is why I have enormous respect for you.
Well, it's kind of you to say that, but my impression in, I think, 13 years on the commission is that all the commissioners do that. All the commissioners make thoughtful decisions and care about the testimony they hear.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
I might point out, too, that this is a rezoning to put the property in compliance with the general plan. That general plan was adopted almost 19 years ago, and it's, over the years, the real effort to try to get the zoning in compliance with the general plan, and this one hasn't been until now. We do have the opportunity that it would comply with the previously adopted general plan. So we have to keep that in mind. And as staff pointed out, it does not authorize a single structure to be built. That would be a whole nother proposal that would come to this commission down the road if indeed the owner wants to do that. Any other discussion? If not, may I have
one bit of discussion, and I'd make a motion, unless somebody else is anchoring to do that. Part of the concern here is that we're going to lose the agricultural feel of the county if we do things like this. And my experience, particularly with a lot of things going around grape growing lately, is 5-acre parcels. There's a whole lot more people that are willing to lose money growing grapes at 5 acres at a time than are willing to lose money at 50 acres at a time. And in fact, these 5-acre parcels end up being a place where a lot of agriculture goes on. And it's not necessarily a great commercial enterprise, but it is nice in terms of the agricultural point of view. So I don't see this as being counter to the desire in general of doing that. That said, if there's nobody else who wants to jump in, I'll
just go ahead and make
a motion. Okay.
Please.
I move that we recommend the approval of the resolution to disestablish Agricultural Preserve 309 based on findings A through D, and that we approve the zone change RZ 15-003 based on findings A through D.
Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Do you have a motion and a second? Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so ordered unanimously. Thank you. Okay, next item is the resolution for a general plan amendment to amend the land use designation of a 3/10 acre portion of a 2.7 acre site from general commercial to low-density residential. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an application by Eden Nix Trust and Gail Williams, the trustee. As you noted, it's for a general plan amendment to change the land use designation of 3/10 of an acre of a 2.7 acre site from general commercial to low-density residential, and to rezone the property from RE1 residential state 1 acre minimum and general commercial to 1 acre of RE1 residential state 1 acre minimum, 9/10 acre of single-family residential, and 8/10 of an acre of general commercial. The property is located at 11969 and 11985 Resorty Street in Groveland. The applicant is proposing to re-subdivide 3 parcels. And in order to do so, they need change the zoning and the general plan in order to not create more zoning districts, primary zoning districts on these new parcels, and that is a requirement of a zoning ordinance. There currently are 4 residents on the site, as well as some shop buildings and sheds, and the reconfiguration would make it so that there would be 2 homes on one parcel and that there would be 2 homes on another, and that the commercial would be a better configuration for some potential development. Only 1 additional house would be allowed after the reconfiguration of the parcels. We also received comments on this project from one neighboring property owner. That owner was concerned about increased traffic, speeding, and also crowding by allowing more development on this property. These are, again, our existing parcels that are being reconfigured to make them, again, conform better to the existing structures on the site. And in order to do so, the general plan amendment and zone change are required.
Any questions of staff from the commission? Seeing none, we'll go to the public. All those in favor of this proposed project may come forward and address the commission.
Commissioners, Bob Osborne, and I represent Gail Williams in her application for the general plan amendment and rezone. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions of Mr. Osborne? Seeing none, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak in favor? Okay, anybody wish to speak in opposition? Anybody wish to speak neutrally? Seeing nobody, we will close the public hearing on this item, bring the matter back to the board for a motion and/or a discussion.
I want to disclose, it's hard not to cross through every project in Groveland in the process of getting out of Groveland, but I did spend an extra few minutes re-familiarizing myself with this site, so I did visit the site today.
Okay.
I took a look too.
All right.
You went there against your will?
I had to make a left to go 100 yards.
I don't have a clue where Resorty Street is over there, so I would rely
it's
on you guys.
Sort of
but-
like right behind Marvell Market.
Oh, okay.
It'd be kind of hard to do speeding there, I think.
Hard to speed? Yeah. Okay, let's have if not a discussion, let's have a motion. I'll look to the Groveland contingent
I'll make a motion that we approve this request.
on the recommendation on page 2. You need to read the
I have to
findings.
do this properly here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You got to tell me the
Yeah,
rules.
the process is...
I catch you blind. Just, summarize, after 1, it gives the staff recommendation, and then say A through D.
Oh, okay. The staff recommendation, items A through D.
And item 2.
Let's see.
The zone change.
It's exempt from, yeah.
And then say this one.
Oh, and then the community service, okay. Community Resource Agency recommends approval, and also their items A through D.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
We do have a second. Any further discussion of the motion?
Just one.
Yes, sir.
You referred to the Groveland contingent. I think you meant the Groveland cabal.
Or the Groveland Mafia? What would you like, John? With that, I'll call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Remember, you reap what you sow.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, our final project, Oddfellows,
Speaking of Groveland,
the Oddfellows property. It's a resolution for a general plan amendment to amend the general plan designation on a 1/100th acre portion of a 463 acre parcel from parks and recreation to low-density residential. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an application by the Oddfellows Sierra Recreation Association. There is a house constructed over a property boundary, which you can see on the maps on page 3 of your agenda package. And in order to correct that situation, the Oddfellows are asking for your support this evening to rezone 1/1200ths of an acre of their 460-acre site, which is located off of Wheeler Road, Old Jordan Way, and Solomon Road intersection in the Oddfellows Sierra Park subdivision, from general recreational to single-family residential mobile home exclusion combining, so that a lot line adjustment can be done to move the boundary so that the house is on the property it should be on and not on a portion of the Oddfellows Sierra Recreation Association property. In order to rezone the property, a general plan amendment is needed, and so this project also includes amending the general plan on that 1,200 acre site from parks and recreation to low-density residential. We did send out notices on this proposal, and we received responses. And the only thing I would like to mention is that we did give you a new map this evening.
Yes.
And that is because the boundary of the project site has been moved, modified slightly in the southwest corner of the property, and a little area is being removed in order to have a setback from that metal structure. So when they do the boundary line adjustment or lot line adjustment, it will no longer include that. It won't be squared off anymore. So.
That's it?
And one thing I will mention is that both of these two projects required a general plan amendment and zone change for usually very simple lot line adjustments or reconfigurations. The Board of Supervisors has asked us to find a more streamlined process for that. And we used to, years ago, have a streamlined process that had to be modified in response to advice of council. But actually, County Council and I are looking into ways we may be able to make it a little simpler for property owners, just so you're aware of that.
Like a lot line adjustment or something, or?
Well, it is a lot line adjustment, but the zoning ordinance says, in order to do that, you can't create this additional zoning, you can't basically candidate for the split zoning, and so we're having, people are having to go through an extensive process, and we're trying to see if there's an alternative.
Yeah, the whole general plan amendment for 1/1200ths of an acre.
It's not the
No
first time we've done this.
opposition.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how you streamline that, but, and I'm sure there's an expense to the proposer too, to do this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, anyway, okay, well, good luck on that. All right, anybody wish to speak in favor of this project?
Maybe we'll be 3 for 3.
I think he's the streamline E.
I'm all in favor of a more streamlined process for these. In fact, I think I had a couple of for you last spring, and an administrative process would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I represent Sierra Park, or Sierra Rec Association, and their endeavor to complete this general plan amendment and zone change so that they can rectify the boundary around the cabin on that parcel. Any questions?
Any questions of the commission? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Osborne. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak in favor of the project? Anybody wish to speak in opposition to the project? Anybody wish to speak neutrally? With that, close that public hearing, bring it back here for discussion and/or action.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir. Go.
I recommend approval of General Plan Amendment GPA 15-004 based on A through D, and I recommend approval of Zone Change RZ 15-006 based on findings A through D.
And I'll second.
And we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, it passes unanimously. And with that, I think we have no other business. We do have a meeting then in 2 weeks. Did you tell us?
On October 21st.
Okay, and with that, we look forward to doing that, and with that, we will close the meeting.
Thank you.